Now, if you translate that to that right hook, we put somebody to sleep. As somebody who don't lift weights, the whole rack is crazy. You translate that, we put somebody to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, we going straight to Jake Paul promotion, put somebody to bed.
I'll take that fight.
Say that.
That fight, you train me for that fight,
Yeah.
I'll take that fight.
Say that.
I ain't a philosopher or nothing like that. 10% of what happens to you, 90% is how we respond. Let's go get it. I'm Boss, and this is Boss Moves, where we go to work with the ones already putting in work. I'm here with my brother, legendary food critic, but MMA. Keith Lee, welcome to the show.
Honor, man. It's an honor to be here. My
guy.
My dog.
I'm happy you're here, man.
Likewise.
You've literally turned your phone into a global platform so you can reach the world. I've seen you transform businesses, help small businesses. Man, we're gonna dive deep today, but how does that feel, being able to understand that you've taken your phone to literally stimulate so much growth in the community and businesses that are struggling, or just give eyeballs to great food?
See, it's different when you're doing it, because in my eyes, I just be eating food. So it don't be feeling like I'm doing what I'm blessed enough to do at the end of the day. But I feel like it happens because I pray, I stay with my family, I mind my business, and my love of food came from me just being a professional fighter. So from being a professional fighter, the main thing, more than anybody, the main thing you gotta focus on is your diet, what you eat, why you eat what you eat, being around food scientists and food dietitians. I feel like that just fueled me to not only have a love for food, but to turn it around and go to other entrepreneurs like myself and show love where I feel like a lot of love wasn't being shown. I feel like it's one of those things where the people who have the biggest talents are usually the ones that's in the most hidden communities.
Yeah.
And we just blessed enough to be the spotlight right now. So yeah, man.
Well, I remember in some of your earlier videos, you were talking about how you use this to also overcome anxiety.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that a lot? Like,
For sure.
to the people that are suffering with anxiety, I believe like they need to understand that you can turn the thing that you're fearful of into an amazing tool.
So for me, I've always had real bad social anxiety to the point where when I was doing fight interviews, I wouldn't be able to function. Like I would do a fight interview and I'd be so nervous that it messed up my whole week. Yeah. So to get comfortable in front of the camera, I literally would just set up my phone on the table and I record myself cooking for my wife or cooking for myself. And I would just talk to the camera as if I had 1,000 people sitting in my living room when I probably had like 4 followers or 5 followers. And that just spiraled into me being able to talk on camera, me being able to do this, talk in person, chop it up with people that I really enjoy being around. Because when you have anxiety, when people don't realize who don't have anxiety, not only is it not something you can control, it's not something that a lot of people identify as anxiety at first. You might feel it like I'm getting flustered or I'm getting tongue-tied when I'm around these people, or I'm sweating a lot and not even realize that is anxiety. That is really what is crippling. But a lot of people, it goes, especially in our community, it goes unidentified for so long that before you know it, you just living in this world and not realizing you anxiety stricken. And I feel like being able to be a voice for that now, it's a blessing, man.
A professional fighter, you were saying, how hard is that on the body? Like when you think about everything that you're just saying, most people don't really understand what you were putting your body through,
For sure.
the punches you were taking, the things you were going in your head to really endure fortitude to push through. Has that played a role into this new chapter?
Absolutely. I always say the easiest part is getting punched in the face.
Yeah.
So all of the other stuff
easiest part is
I
getting
swear, bro, because all of the other stuff that goes into that is really what makes the sport such a difficult sport, to focus on weight. So I can get a call anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks, and they'll call me. I'll be in a grocery store in a snack aisle, of course. They'll call me. They'll be like, "Hey, you got to fight in 4 weeks," and I'll be like, "Okay, what's the weight?" They'll be like, "You fight at 135."
Yeah.
At the time, I'm 172. Within that 4 weeks, I got to get down to 135, and no ifs, ands, or buts. And if I don't, then 30% of my purse is gone.
Wow.
So that's 30% on top of having to pay 10% to agents, top of having to pay 10% to trainers, on top of having to pay 10% for all of the food, probably 20% of all of the food that you eat. So I'm only able to take 30% for home for my kids to eat.
Yeah.
And that's a non-negotiable. We
it.
got to make the weight. So that's probably the hardest part, is making the weight. And for me, I think that's where my love of food come from, is that was the main focus. I've always been a bigger guy for my weight classes. It's weird. So I've always been in this space of like, I'm too big for 135, but then I'm too small for 145.
Yeah.
Because guys at 145 are usually 6'3", 6'2", anywhere 5'11" to 6'2", and guys at 135 are anywhere from like 5'8" to 6 feet, and I'm like right in the middle at 5'9", and I've always had this challenge of not really being able to fit in or figure out what my balance is. And I feel like a lot of that still is present to this day with me eating food. That's why you don't really see me collabing with a lot of people. Or you don't really see me like in a lot of like traditional spaces that a lot of people follow. I literally go eat food, I hang out with my family, I talk to people I talk to, and then I go home.
I think that's gonna go into the next segment. I want to take you over here because I'm about to put you through. This next thing we're about to do is can you keep up, right? We're gonna go into some weights. I know you don't lift weights.
I don't.
You know, but it wouldn't be right if you came and saw me and we didn't.
And then we didn't lift nothing.
Yeah, have a little conversation around this to keep it pushing.
You ain't scaring me, boss.
I'm not trying to scare you. I just want you to understand that this is what I do. This is what you do.
Yes, sir.
One of the things I want to touch on in all of this is still, through everything that you've accomplished, how does it feel when so many people are chasing clout? You're still so grounded to your beliefs and everything that, you know, we talk about and staying true to your people.
For me,
let's go 10 of these.
For me, I'm always with my family, so I think it's easier for me to be grounded when I am with them, and I'm reminded about what's important. I feel like the second you get away from that, then it's easier for you to get shifted off that path.
Yeah. So, you know, you've had a lot of collabs with celebrities, brands.
Yeah.
What feels most authentic to you when you talk about collaboration, brand? What has been some of the most authentic collaboration and brand partners you've had?
I'm not saying this because we already filming, but you, first off, because you my dog.
Yeah.
And second, Cardi B was probably the easiest one I've ever done.
Wow.
We got another set of these?
No, we're going to go bent over row for 12. You talk about the financial journey, which you really protect and help a lot of businesses. What does it feel like when you started to make some real money? 6 months.
To be honest with you, it felt like a dream. Like, it felt like I was playing. And then from the anxiety side, like, I feel like something that's not really spoken on is the survivor's guilt that comes with it.
Yeah.
When I got it, it was one of those things where I was immediately like, is this gonna be taken away from me? Like, is this temporary? Do I celebrate? If I celebrate, am I getting too high? Am I getting too low? And it was one of those things I really just had to like pray about and thank God in advance that like whatever's gonna be for me is gonna be for me. But it took me a while to get there.
Yeah.
And while we saying it took a while, I feel like I'm still in that evolving path. But like, I'm way better than I was at first. At first, I'm like, bro, they about to come and snatch everything right now. Like, and it come from PTSD. Like, as a kid, I grew up in Detroit. And
let's go curls.
We grew up like moving houses a lot. Like, I've never really lived in a house for more than a year.
Curl just right here, yep. You never really lived in houses?
I've never lived in a house for like more than a year as a kid.
Where did you live?
We just moved around a lot.
Okay.
So, like, we would get to a place, and then the second we there, we might be there for a year max, and then we just moved to another place.
Oh, wow.
So, actually, I took my wife back to Detroit, and I showed her all of the houses that I grew up in, and it's like 12 of them.
Wow.
So I think that's where a lot of the PTSD comes from, is like not really having nothing that's solid, and it's gonna stay like that.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in this space of reminding myself that like, you're gonna be all right.
Yeah.
Like, I got kids now, so it gives a different set of motivation of like, I can't stop.
Yeah.
But I'm blessed enough to be able to not stop.
Like, do you define that as a boss move though? Because I've been able to see a lot of boss moves, right? Taking where you were to where you are. How would you define your current place, right? Mentally, you know, mindset wise.
I would say right now I'm in a longevity stage. So I feel like that's the biggest boss move that I'm doing, is building for the future. Yeah. So I've gotten over that hump of is this gonna be taken away to I'm about to make sure it stay for a long time.
Yeah.
So setting my kids up with trust funds.
Yeah.
Setting my kids up with places where they can have connections for the rest of their life. Setting them up to where they don't have to depend on dad, but they can depend on themselves being themselves.
Yeah, I think that's so dope. But I think working out is a great correlation to all those other things, because you can't have gains in your bank account. There's no sacrifice.
That's a fact.
You can't have gains in the gym.
That's a fact.
There's no sacrifice. But as we walk away from this into this next thing,
yes, sir.
When you sit down to go eat food and you're thinking about like what's going through your mind, like when you're going to try the mom and pop spot, the people that need that rejuvenation to their business, and you may have to give them a bad review. What's going through your mind?
So honestly, transparency, and the responsibility that comes with the
Let's do another set of curls while you talk about this, and then we'll move. Because I just don't want to be standing still.
Say that.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
just being blessed with the ability to have any kind of impact, right?
Stop moving your shoulder so much. You
So
definitely, yeah, we should have gave you 10s.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's
15s.
okay.
It's all right.
All right,
All
but
right.
I got to hear this because this is important.
But so for me, it's like the immediate thought of like what could happen afterwards, right? And being honest with people, but being honest with myself and keeping myself in align with what it is that I'm called to do. And that's being honest with people, and that's not jeopardizing who I am for no amount of money or no amount of opportunity that comes out of that.
Yeah.
So when I'm sitting in front of those restaurants, I'm immediately like, what's the outcome gonna be about this? After this, or do I gotta go in here and tell them, in my opinion, I hate the food?
Yeah.
But still being constructive. I don't ever do nothing that's not constructive.
Yeah.
So the second I feel like I'm not being constructive, I'd rather not say anything.
Absolutely. All right. Well, let's go inside the gym. That was an amazing gym. I got this thing where we're going to sit down and talk in a second. It's called Gyms in the Gym. The GEMs and the GYM.
You can tell I ain't never lifted weights a day in my life.
Yeah, so right now, we're going into Who's the Boss. That's where you tell me, you order me around. You know how you ordering food?
Yeah.
You're going to order me around, give me some stuff to do.
That's kind of
you
wait
can
for
make
all
up-
day. Let's do it. So we gonna
what you
start
got
with-
for me?
We just gonna start with straight shadow boxing. So
I
the
wish
first
I
30
had some
seconds is
gloves. Just here, just loose.
Yep. The first 30 seconds is getting a rhythm, staying loose, always moving, arms loose. Yep. Oh, you done did some boxing before. You pivoted in that back foot. Most people make the mistake of not pivoting that back foot because that's where all your power come from.
Oof. Okay, I feel this though.
I about to say you feel it the first 15. Yep. So the last 30, I just want all power shots. So they don't have to be stiff or stagnant. I just want so all power shots.
That shit.
Just sitting in those punches.
Sit down on the hook.
Keeping that back hand up. Yep. Hip rotation the whole time.
Shit, that came coming.
Yeah, payback. I like it.
The whole thing, you got me tired. What's your review of this? Like when you know.
I'm very, very pleasantly surprised. I wasn't expecting you to really use your back hip. That's the main issue that a lot of beginners have. I give you are you an 8?
Okay, an 8.
Yeah,
okay,
you get a solid 8. Yeah, you get a solid 8.
I got a lot of
I'm not
work to
gonna
do,
lie.
but for somebody that, you know what I mean?
You
I feel like I
put
don't
somebody
wanna-
down.
Yeah, I don't want to fight nobody though. I'm getting too
Somebody
old.
step up and it's a problem. You put somebody down.
All right, all right.
Because a lot of people that have muscle usually have a really, really big issue with staying stiff. So coming here, a lot of guys stick this bottom foot into the ground and it's here and it's a lot of just torque. But instead of coming here or using a lot of my, because this is where all your power is.
Yeah.
All your power comes from here.
from your hips.
So the fact that you was able to sit down and really use rotation,
It's still very hard, you know, still working on that. It's like that slingshot.
It's
It's those
repetition.
hands
Yeah.
coming back and forth. All right, now let's go into the next thing.
Let's do it. So the next one is tricep pull downs.
Okay.
So I
I'm
don't
gonna
know.
master this. I
Let's
mean,
do
come
it.
on. I mean, it don't really matter. I could do the whole rack. This
Come
is
on.
like you picked it.
Let me see what you
I mean,
talking
how
about.
much? How much is that? That's
That's
250.
250.
250. Light 250. Get it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Now, if you translate that to that right hook, we put
Ah!
somebody to sleep.
That was like
You
I
translate
probably.
that, we put somebody to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah, we going straight to Jake Paul promotion. Put
Hey,
somebody to bed.
I'll take that fight.
Say that.
That fight, you trained me for that fight.
Yeah.
I'll take that
Say
fight.
that.
Even though you don't lift weights.
Because
that's
as somebody who don't lift weights, the whole rack is crazy.
Yeah.
You got to see
So
it.
if you tell me right now that you'll train me for that Jake Paul fight,
Oh,
I'm
money.
100% because I'm incised.
Too bad.
I'll take that fight.
Big money.
Big money.
Say
Easy
that.
money.
Say that.
That's an easy knockout.
Yeah, say that.
Easy knockout.
Say that.
Because you challenged me to a minute of boxing. Let me see something. This is just how my mind works as a performance coach.
What we
you
doing?
know?
Bandit shadow boxing?
Yeah, but bandit, you know, I'm gonna take it up a level. I'm not just gonna do bandit shadow boxing. I gotta add a level.
What we doing?
So I want you to band up, right? So you put this around your back. We're gonna go a minute while you answer these questions. Stay right there. I'm coming back to you, bud. Woo! Same shadow boxing. Yep. I want you to. Yep. And I want you to put these in your hands too.
Let's work.
So a little bit of added berry.
Let's work.
Yeah, let's work. So, got 60 seconds of just rapid fire, one word answers.
I'm moving the whole time while you ask me.
Yep, you
right,
throwing them. You throwing them. I want to see some real ones. All
Tell
right.
me when to start.
All right. 3, 2, 1. What's your go-to comfort meal?
Chili.
One lesson you learned starting out as a critic.
Honesty.
Before the followers and the fame, who first believed in you?
My wife.
A review that brought you joy.
Frankenstein's Pizzeria.
Most meaningful collab.
This one.
City or restaurant that showed you the most love.
It's a lot of them.
Giving back to culture looks like what?
Unity.
One thing you carry with you everywhere. Come on.
My kids.
Gratitude sounds like
Love.
a dish that tastes like love.
Gumbo.
A review that made a community impact.
Shank Artisan Noodle.
The song you blast at home the most.
Anything by Rod Wave.
The song you blast alone.
Anything by Kirk Franklin.
Okay. Favorite pair of sneakers or collab.
Asics.
What has food taught you about people?
Community.
What city feels the best?
New Orleans.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Boy,
Hey, that was amazing.
we do that.
Hey, that was amazing.
We do
By the
this.
way, here, watch this. Because I hate the idea of somebody working. You know what I mean?
Come
And
on.
I'm not getting a little taste of this medicine.
Come on.
This medicine
Yeah.
myself. Yeah, what you want me to do? Tell me.
Go under.
Boom.
Go. Yep.
Oh, you want me to go?
Yeah, go under the elbows so you can go full range of motion on your elbows.
There we go.
And then through your hands. Yep. It's crazy we doing this because this is my warm up when we start anything.
Yep.
I always go banded because when you take them off, you feel 30 times faster.
Lighter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on,
Sit
boss.
down on it.
Come on, boss. Boss said he put Jake to sleep.
Yeah. Oh,
I
that's
heard it
easy.
here first.
That's easy. That's easy. Big dog against a big dog, not no little pup.
Big word.
And I'm a little out of his age range, so he'll take me. All right. But nah, this is I can't watch you get some work
Let's do it,
without
man.
getting some work, man. But now, I'm about to go into this other little piece of thing that I like to do that most people know me by. All right, here we go. I'm out here. You know what time it is. What's your name?
I'm Keith Lee.
Okay, we know. Most people know that. You know where this all started.
Let's do it.
A comment on Instagram. You know what I mean? You're my brother.
You said you
We
was
beyond.
gonna beat me in a race.
It's beyond social media. I want people to know.
Absolutely.
There's love.
My dog.
You know what I mean? All right, here we go.
Yep.
Set. Go. Smoked your ass.
Bro, we gotta run out back. Hold
Where
on.
did he go?
You said go and you did.
Where did he go?
Before you even said go, you go.
Where
You
did
go.
he go? Keith.
Run it back.
Keith.
Run it back.
Where did you
Run it
go?
back.
Man, I appreciate this.
Likewise, man.
This
It was
was
amazing.
this felt like what it was supposed to feel like.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Grounded in authenticity, the family, the love,
My
the
dog.
things that we talk about, which brings to the conversation of you built your brand on authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep that while you continue to grow?
I've always said what you do with a little is what you do with a lot. So I've been the same person from jump because, again, I'm around the same people.
Yeah.
I'm around the same people. I'm around the same environments. The only thing that's changed is I'm blessed enough that I bought myself a house. I bought my mom a house. I bought my wife's mom a house. But my day-to-day life has stayed the exact same. I'm always with my kids. I'm always with my wife. So it has allowed me to not only stay myself, but to still grow in that same space and not change who I am at the core, like the fundamental part of myself. So yeah, that's probably why I just be Keith, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
don't mean
that's
that
one
much.
thing. That's one thing I can appreciate about our connection from day where ago. You said to me when we first met, I was a fan. You was like, "Nah, bro, I've been watching you since you was a
wow.
kid." And a
A
lot
long
of
time,
times we end up meeting people and we tend to not give them their flowers. And I want to give you flowers for what you built. And I think what you're doing for young food critics, what you're allowing, you've allowed the door to be open for so many others. I remember when things were going viral for people making videos like you, and that was really cool. What does that look like for you as you continue to inspire the youth? What do you want people to know about you, and how can they continue to pour back into you so you can pour back into them?
So something about me that I touched on a little bit earlier, but I haven't really touched on a lot, is that I feel like I did this in a very untraditional way, in a sense of not a lot of collabs, not a lot of immediate off the jump selling product. I've always kept the restaurants on the forefront. Anytime that media would call or Fox News or any news outlet would call, I would immediately say, go interview the restaurants instead of interviewing me, because that's what it's about.
Yeah.
And I understand that I'm just an engine for this. And I think for the people in the future or the people who are watching this that are rather younger or want to get started into the entire space, is not bubbling yourself into something. Like I don't consider myself a content creator or an influencer. I'm legit just Keith. And I think keeping that mindset has kept me not only having longevity, but it's kept my mental right. Because it's very daunting when you're in a space and you seeing people who you consider your peers and you like, this person is in this area or they doing this because they was with this person. It's so easy to compare yourself to that, right? But I feel like the second that you allow that to seep in, I have something on my leg that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy on the outside can do no harm. So the second you allow that to seep in is when you start going wrong. The one thing that I want everybody to remember is that the boat can't sink unless there's holes in it. And it only gets holes in it by doubt. We fishermen, we can float on top of the water as long as we want. As long as we don't let the water get in, we're gonna be all right.
I love that.
For sure.
Which that brings to a stronger point of your family. We talk about work a lot, but faith and family means a lot to both of us. I think we're grounded in that. What does that mean to you? A deeper dive into faith and family.
So for me, it's everything. It's the pivotal part of who I am. If I don't have that, then I say yes to everything. When I'm living in a 2-bed, 2-bath apartment and we on food stamps and we trying to figure out where we about to go next, and people calling and saying, hey, I got this $1 million deal, but it's something that you don't eat, but I need you to be on camera saying you love it. If I don't have family and faith, that $1 million is in my pocket, but that's probably the last $1 million I ever make because that's not my money to take. And the reason I didn't take that money is because I have the people standing next to me and being like, you know you about to lie on camera. You know that ain't gonna last.
Yeah.
And the second you do that, that's who you gonna be from now on. Thanking God in advance that whatever's gonna be for me is gonna be for me. And I think if I don't have that, I'm not here today. Not even close.
Which brings me to, like, for me, this whole idea of this was, by the way, you're my brother. You're my sweat brother, but you're my brother, right?
Yeah.
And this whole gyms in the gym, GEMs and the GYM for me, fitness became my golf. And I was able to connect and have these conversations. But my partners, I always look at long term. I don't look at short term.
Same.
Partner, I've been with NutriBolt C4 for 10 years, right? And celebrating 10 years, I want to know, what is the next chapter? I know you've told me a lot about the shows that you're building and all that. I don't, tell me what you're excited about for your next 10 years as you continue to evolve.
So longevity is what I'm excited about. I'm excited about things that we put in place now to set up the future. So like I said before, I never really focused on me as a person in this. I've always focused on the restaurants. This year is about me and my family. And this year is about setting stuff so we can continue to bless other people around us. And that looks like in the form of I can't say the exact thing, but like live events or in form of having a community space where people can come and not only show love to the restaurants that's in a community that they might not have known about, and just have a space that's safe for everybody to come eat food, go back to like old school community. I'm originally from Detroit. So Detroit was like everybody outside, everybody know each other, everybody is welcoming. Like that's an environment that we trying to bring back. And I feel like by this time next year is gonna be something that's in place that it's gonna be amazing. I'm excited.
I've seen the growth. Everything that you're talking about to me sounds like you said, God bless me so that I can be a blessing.
Absolutely.
Right? So you're saying that little...
To get a blessing, you gotta be a blessing.
Got to be a blessing, right?
For
sure. And I think about, you talked about you 2014, you moved to Vegas.
Yeah.
But your brother was in the UFC. How did that impact you coming up, and how did that inspire you? How do you use that today?
So I only talked about this once, and I'm gonna give it to you because he's my dog.
Yeah.
So I was born and raised in Detroit. We lived on Joywood Evergreen, and I went to school in Southfield. So Southfield is like a suburb outside of Detroit, and it was a 30-minute drive. Instead of going to a Detroit public school, which is like 5 minutes away, my parents was like, no matter what, I'm taking you to this school 30 minutes away. My brother went to the school before me, and he wrestled, so I ended up wrestling, of course, after him. And once he got to college, he immediately started fighting. So he got into the UFC my senior year. His first fight in the UFC, I think he made like 10,000 and 10,000, 10,000 a show, 10,000 a win. And he lost the fight, so he only got 10,000. But us being from Detroit, we think that's fucking crazy money. So he moved up, he got the 10,000, he left and went to Vegas and found a trainer in Vegas. And he was supposed to just go for a day just to like hit pads or whatever. He ended up staying there, getting an apartment, and calling my mama like, I'm not coming back. So my mama was like, hey, do you want to move to Vegas? Again, I'm an inner city Detroit kid. I'm like, people don't even live in Vegas. What are you talking about? Like I ain't never really been outside of that environment. So I'm like, yeah, of course. Thinking that we like maybe next year or maybe 2 days later, she was like, pack a bag, we gone. We packed one bag apiece. We jumped in a Nissan Altima. It was me, my little brother who's 4 years younger than me, my mom and my dad. We drove from Detroit to Vegas, and I think it's like 2 days.
Wow.
We got there. As soon as we got there, I chose to go to school, but I couldn't afford school. So I ended up back in Vegas, depressed, not knowing what I was gonna do. My brother saw me one day. He came to my mama's house. I was living on my mama's couch, and he was like, come to the gym with me. We went to the gym, and that's how my history was wrote. I went to the gym once and never turned around.
Love that. I think too, as we wrap this up, man, that's an amazing story.
My dog.
Amazing story. And what most people don't know about you, that I don't think they know about you, they see Keith Lee, the food critic. They don't know, as much as you're a collaborator and a person that gives back, they don't understand how highly competitive you are.
Very.
And we got a dog, Toby. And to bring up this conversation, you know, I'm on the phone with Toby talking about how I'm running. I put a comment on your page talking about, you know, hey, bro, that ain't it.
The comment was on the video of me running.
Of you
and
running.
He was like, no, that ain't it.
You got to go back
and
in
I
that,
said,
dog.
man, hold on. I was like, put us on the phone. We got on the phone. We chopped it up for like an hour straight.
Yeah.
And the whole time, I'm like, bro, you can't do nothing with me.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember Toby was like, Keith, hold on, he like that. He was like, no, he like that for real. But I think that's what has gotten me to where I am, is that I take that exact same drive into everything I do.
Yeah.
So it may look like I'm just eating food, but we in a van 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
We shooting 10 hours a day. I'm shooting, I'm editing, I'm going to sleep late, I'm watching the kids, I'm being a great husband. I'm doing all of these things and I'm juggling it because I got that competitive spirit from fighting. And I just take it into everything I do. But yeah, the second we start talking about running, I'm like, yeah, I run till my feet fall off.
Yeah.
That's how.
Yeah,
how
you
I
was
am.
running 6s at the time. You were running what, like a?
So I was running like a 7:30 pace for probably
5K.
5K, like 4 miles.
Yeah. And then I just came through and ran 6 minutes.
You said, oh yeah, I run like an 8 minute. You was like, I run. That's why I started talking so crazy, because you was like, I run an 8 minute.
Yeah.
I'm like, 8 minutes, you're not doing nothing with me.
Yeah.
And then you call me the next day, or Toby called me and he like, yeah, you know, he just ran a 6 minute mile.
Yeah, it was like, it was like
a 6 minute 5K,
it was like a month.
or like a 5 minute and 40-second mile. And I was like, I looked at my phone like,
it was a month.
I said, hold on, he got the wrong number. He ain't mean to text me that.
It was a month.
And you sent me the screenshot, and I said, okay, you got it.
It was a month.
Yeah.
I had to. I don't know where it came from, but
the fact that you could do it in a month is incredible.
Yeah.
Like that's not
It
nothing
was
that most people could do. Just get up and run.
nothing. I was already in running, like running. That's what it
to
came
get from 8 minutes to 5:30 is.
But I was
crazy.
7:45. But it was just like, nuts.
Crazy. Yeah.
Anyway, as we wrap this up,
For sure.
I think one of the things that I would love for you to, you know, the young audience, right? Everybody, right, that's watching this, girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, whatever, however you want to shape it. What's one piece of advice when it comes down? Everybody wants to be a creator. What's something that you would want to leave anybody that's trying to inspire beyond Food Critic, just to go make content to change their family dynamic? Because what it sounds like to me, you've changed your family dynamic. You're changing the landscape of how, through social media, and there's a negative connotation on that.
Absolutely.
And I want you to just give an inspiration outside of everything else you said as we move past and go do another workout.
I feel like the cliche answer is to be consistent, right? That's what a lot of people say. But I think for me, the number one advice that I could possibly give to anybody that want to do any kind of content creating is do something today that you can do for the rest of your life. So don't post videos that if it blew up tomorrow, because that's how social media works. It can blow up the next day and you not realize it. Don't do something today that if it blew up tomorrow, you'll be miserable if somebody called you and asked you to do it.
Yep.
Do something, no matter how many views it get, no matter how many people see it. This is the mindset that I started with. I had maybe 1,000 followers, and I just started doing stuff that I love, which is cooking, being in a space that I know if it was to blow up, I'd be happy with doing for a very long time.
Yep.
And the one thing I always say is that what is easy to do doesn't last long. What lasts long isn't easy to do.
Got it.
So as long as you doing something that you really want to do, I feel like the sky's the limit.
Yep, I totally
sure.
agree. I appreciate it, man. You
My
dropped
dog.
so many gems.
You the
This
man.
felt like the most authentic,
I love that.
you know what I mean,
Yeah, likewise,
conversation.
man. Yeah.
And it's like more to come. And I'm
Absolutely.
excited about,
We got to
man,
run a marathon together.
you know, I backed out of a marathon. That's a whole nother conversation. Kid ran a marathon. I quit after mile 16. I started chafing, and I was like, "Yeah, this is
Understood.
yeah."
So,
yeah,
a half marathon. Then.
I can do a
challenge you
half
that.
marathon.
Bet.
I
Let's
can
run
do
a half
that.
marathon.
There's been another episode of Boss Moves where we're talking not just about the gym, but we're talking about the moves in life, how you go from one thing to the next, and you do it well. Keep your mind sharp. Boss Moves only. Stay up. My brother
Easy,
Keith
man.
Lee, thank you
God
for
is
joining me.
amazing.
man.
Thank you for having me.
I
This was an
appreciate you.
honor of mine. Like all cameras, all nothing aside, I'm honored to be here, and I respect what you do so much. And this is something that I'm remember for the rest of my life.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Same. This is only a lot more on the way.
Absolutely.
My God.